up? Welcome to Wine School. I'm Mike. He's always Eric. We got Chris and Jesse. What's up, guys? We're going to drink some Chenin Blanc.
Chenin Blanc.
All right. Chenin Blanc. All right, tonight's Wine School brought to you by LA Beach Fit. So if you want to get shredded, check them out online, labeachfit.com. Okay, so I said we're drinking a Chenin, but actually in France and in Europe, you know, they label the wines by where they're made, not by the grape that is in them. So really what we're drinking is a Vouvray, which is just cool to say.
Vouvray.
Vouvray. It sounds great.
Cool.
It sounds fancy,
sounds
right?
Cool.
Something I drink in my car.
A Vouvray? Vouvray. It's harder to say the more of it you drink, I found, by the way. Anyway, so Vouvray is this little town in the middle of the Loire Valley in France. Northern part of France. The Loire River runs through it. Cards this channel. It's the countryside is just ridiculously picturesque with castles.
See.
Oui.
I
think.
I like to speak Spanish when you're speaking French. I appreciate that. It's funny.
Anyway, so they grow Chenin Blanc there, and in a couple places, Vouvray and Savennières, which is right around the corner from Vouvray.
That's the grape, Chenin Blanc.
Chenin Blanc is the grape.
But Vouvray is the town.
Vouvray is the town. So when you look at the label, it'll say Vouvray. Okay. It doesn't say Chenin Blanc anywhere on the label, which, by the way, is annoying, right? When you're trying to figure out like what this is, if you don't know things, like you look at this, oh, it's a Vouvray white wine.
It's like tiny lettering, like.
It's made out of Vouvray.
Like they put in the commercials, like.
But Vouvray's not a grape.
But Vouvray's not a grape. Yeah, it's actually Chenin Blanc.
You have to know that.
You would have to know it, and Chenin Blanc is probably the most versatile food wine in the world. Honest to God. And we have taken Chenin Blanc in the States and we have made it into the worst jug, garbage, crap wine in the world. The production of Chenin Blanc in California is probably 10 times the production in France. The other place that they grow it is South Africa, where they call it Steen. Whatever.
Okay.
Steen. And it's probably 20 times the production of France. In France, they basically grow a little bit of Chenin Blanc in these two towns in the Loire, Vouvray and Savennières. And it is as beautiful a representation of Chenin as you can get. One of the things that's interesting about Chenin is similar to Riesling, where you get different styles between sweet and dry. Chenin's very similar, but it really is climate driven. So like if it's a really hot year, they make one style. If it's a really cold year, they make a different style. And they even make sparkling, like a champagne style Chenin. And they make a dry one and they make a sweet one and kind of everything in between. Now this particular Chenin that we're going to drink, this Domaine Huet, this is the grandfather of Chenin in Vouvray. This family has been making wine there since 1928.
Wow.
And they have these 3 little vineyards. This one is the Les Aulus vineyard. And they actually only make the wine by vineyard. So this is all the grapes are from that vineyard. And
they have a picture of it.
Yeah, they have a little picture of it. Yeah.
Well, then, do you know what 2011 was?
I don't know.
Was it a hot year? Or we're going to find out.
We're going to find out. We're going to find out
Okay.
when we get into it. Actually, to be honest, though, I do know because it says sec on the label. So that means it's dry or slightly off dry. If it was sweeter, it would be demi-sec or moulu.
Oh, okay.
So I can tell a little bit by looking.
Dry white wine.
They give you a heads up, but within that, there's a lot of
There's a lot of play.
There's a lot of play. There's a lot of room for variation. Anyway, so the other thing that's interesting about this vineyard, so I said this is the granddaddy of Vouvrays. Well, it was in the family, got passed down to the son, got passed down to the grandson.
Okay.
There's this dude who's been making wine, who's actually the son-in-law, not quite the son, the son-in-law, who's been making wine there at Domaine Huet for the last 30 years. He finally, too old, retired, and there wasn't really anybody to pass it down to in the family. So this is the very first wine vintage from the new guy.
Yeah, okay.
So, and I don't think anyone has, I haven't
Noticed,
heard any
yeah.
sort of opinions about it. No, I don't know. Everyone noticed that the old guy left
Yeah,
because he was
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
And the new guy, maybe he's awesome.
I don't know. He's under a lot of pressure.
He's
He's under a lot of pressure.
He better step up. But there wasn't a son or anything to pass it down to. So they got like some outside investors came in, and it'll be interesting to see what happens with this winery. And I hope they preserve, this wonderful, wonderful legacy.
This is like
that
a
this,
true small batch wine.
yeah, in a very
No, I
unique
mean-
niche, right?
Well, could it get It could get wiped out by modern commercialization really easily if
Totally,
you're not careful.
totally.
Or
Yeah.
they could like preserve it as an amazing little thing.
Which who knows what they'll
Hopefully
do.
they'll do
Right.
that.
As a consumer, I hope they preserve. But the bottom line is, it's going to be hard for them to sort of wrap it in to anything else because there's really nothing else like Chenin. They don't really grow it anywhere else in France, but these two towns. No other grapes really grow there, so it's not like they're going to rip out all the grapes and put in some new stuff.
I never heard of a bitter, or not bitter, but bitter, right? It's a bitter white wine.
It's
Yeah.
not bitter. It's it'll be off dry, which means
Or
it's,
dry white wine is what I meant to say. I've never heard of a dry white wine.
yeah.
How many dry white wines are there? Are there many? Are there very few?
I think there are certainly a lot of white wines with a little bit of sweetness to it,
Okay.
for sure, right? Yeah, I mean that's
Yeah.
fairly common. But I mean, dry. We've done dry Rieslings on this show before. You can get certainly dry Chardonnays, dry Sauvignon Blancs. Sometimes they'll have a little bit of sugar on them as well. It'll be interesting to see
So
what
it's
this
still
is.
sweet wine.
Yeah. You want to know how to tell? This is going to be dry to off dry, but I'll tell you how to tell.
Okay.
Right when you take a sip, right when the wine goes into your mouth, feel the tip of your tongue, and if the tip of your tongue tingles, it's got sugar on it.
Okay.
If it doesn't tingle, it's bone dry.
Okay.
So we'll all try it together.
Okay.
Ready? Let's
One,
drink
two,
some
three.
let's drink some Chenin.
Mine tingled.
Yeah, I might
Little
tingle
bit,
a
yeah.
little bit, yeah.
I mean, it didn't like,
It's
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
I mean,
tingle,
it was like a
but tingle,
delayed
little-
reaction.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a little tingle.
there's a
That
little
was
bit of
out
a
there.
tingle there, right?
So
There's
that means it's medium.
no.
No.
So because does it feel sweet to you?
Still, yeah.
Just very
Not,
It's
not
like-
very much.
Yeah, it's not like a
It's
like
not
most of the
overriding,
sweet wines
but-
that I've sweet white wines that I've had it's not like that.
It's not like that at all. So this is a sec, right? So sec is basically they're saying it's dry. It doesn't have sugar on it, but it has a little bit.
Yeah, 'cause
Right.
it's so
And that's
white
that
wine.
climate. That's 2011.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there's not quite enough that it would qualify to be a sweet
Yeah,
wine.
but you need to reach out to this new guy because
I-
he's new.
you sent an email, hey dude.
I know you really should send him an email and show him this little clip, and then you say, "What do you think about how this wine turned out, and what do you think the future of Chenin is in,
Maybe
in
if
your
you have your
company?"
little
Right.
You never know, man. And one of the weird things in the modern world is you could literally like send an email to Richard Branson and have him respond to you in a day.
Randomly, yeah.
No, I mean that never happened before.
It's weird. I keep
But that
emailing
stuff
him.
can
He
happen.
never responds
Well,
to me.
okay, that's a bad example, but
Maybe
this
I-
guy, he might
I've been
be
waiting out his-
feeling, he was looking for a little love.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I actually don't know who the new guy is. I don't know his name.
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm sure I could probably figure it out.
Tell
if
him you're the
tracked it down.
executive producer of Bottle Shock 2.
we're gonna go do a Vouvray.
I don't know.
It is funny. A
Wow.
Vouvray is such a small, unique
Yeah, I know.
style of wine.
I'm gonna drink some more.
But they talked about it sideways.
Yeah,
They got in a
that's
little
good.
argument about Vouvray in
So
the
why do I
restaurant.
know Chenin Blanc though? It's just because of those.
Because
jugs
Chenin, those
of wine?
freaking jugs of Chenin
So
Blanc.
apparently my parents must have been buying jugs of Chenin Blanc when I was a young boy.
And it's got such a horrible reputation. And
No,
by
I
the way,
remember like a glass jug with a little metal top that you could carry.
Yeah,
two
with
of
the
them, and they
little
were-
finger
they were
loop
like
on
a
it?
gallon and a half.
yeah.
Okay.
And that reputation is absolutely deserved. That wine was garbage.
Because
It
you're
was
saying
$2 a gallon.
But why is it? It's because that grape isn't meant for the climate in California.
Oh no, it grows like hell out in California. You can grow it.
So why does it end up being so shitty?
Well, so here's what happens. The more the grape grows, the crappier the wine is. And the reason is like if you have a grapevine, there's only so much energy in the grapevine. So if that energy goes into like 3 bunches of grapes, those grapes are concentrated and full of flavor. If that energy goes into 20 bunches of grapes, the grapes are all kind of
Yeah.
And so you take, and you'll see this if like you drive up through the like past Bakersfield, if you drive up the 99, you'll see these grape fields, and you'll see these grapevines where they're this
Everywhere,
tall,
yeah.
and you know they have the
There's
canopies
37.
going all the way. Yeah, I
They'll
suppose
let
you
you
go to
pick them
Napa and you
sometimes.
drive by, and there's like this like one little shoot.
They'll let you pick them sometimes. You just go to people. They're like, oh yeah, come in my thing. You can pick some. You know, it's cool. Even blueberries grow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but they're
now-
huge.
Yeah.
Like they're
So it's Americans that ruined this grape. By
Well, I
growing
mean,
like
the-
57,000 of them on one tree.
well,
so
well,
they can make 800 gallons of crappy wine and sell it for
it's
like
sell for $2,
$3.99.
yeah, for a
Yeah,
gallon.
American.
Well,
We're
it's
good
just,
at ruining shit.
well,
I'll tell you that.
I don't know about ruining's probably a harsh word, right? So if you
Blowing it up for commercial reasons.
exactly, it's like you have this plot of land, you're going to grow some grapes. You know, you could produce this much grapes, or you could trim it all back and produce this much grapes, but the wine would be that much more concentrated. What are you going to do, right? You're a business guy. Like, you look at it and you figure out, how much can I sell the good stuff for? What happens if I...
Well, then
Yeah.
Americans are like, what, you could sell a burger a third of a pound? Why don't we sell one for 2 pounds? Let's make it as big as possible. Some idiot will buy it.
That's it. Well,
Yeah.
welcome to Napa Chardonnay.
Oh.
But so anyway, so Chenin, I personally am not a fan of California Chenin, not a fan of South African Chenin, but the Vouvray and the Saunière I think is fantastic, and it is a phenomenal food pairing type of wine, just because A, the flexibility, and B, it's got some really unique flavor characteristics. It just
I don't smell a lot when I'm smelling it. It seems difficult to smell.
It's like cinnamon. I smell to me. I smell cinnamony vanilla.
Some
cinnamon vanilla. Yeah, that's a great. I didn't get the cinnamon until you said that,
I
but
think she's right.
there is a little bit of cinnamon on there.
Yeah.
And so sometimes
Something else
that if you age it in oak barrels, you'll get cinnamon and cloves and baking spices, and along with that vanilla sweetness that we
Yeah.
characterize oak with. But that's a great call. I also get your lemon on it too. I think I get a little
There's
pineapple,
some citrus in there.
Yeah.
and there's
I
a
like
little bit of
pineapple.
a.
Sometimes
Pineapple.
citrus. Yeah, pineapple.
There's almost like a kerosene characteristic to it too, but not in a displeasing way.
Yeah.
Well, no, it just seems like it's like a palette, like, and you put the food or whatever on it,
Yeah.
and it goes whatever direction you go with it. It seems very it does seem like that. Like it doesn't have a real bold character in any direction, does it?
Right.
Its character is more
Which-
chill,
Yeah.
and then so I think that the food would
It's a
take
great
it in a
complement to
different-
food.
different direction.
Absolutely.
That's how it seems. 'cause
I'll tell you what would be
it's not
great with this:
overriding.
Thai food. That's
Yeah.
like when I was drinking this, I'm like, like a
Like
mild
spicy food?
mid-spicy curry, not like over the top, but mid-spice curry with this. I think
Thai.
those two things would
I
just.
think in Thai and Mandarin.
Mandarin?
We'll see what kind of wine they got at the Thai place.
Yeah.
They usually don't have the good
They
stuff.
don't really
Well,
boba.
But you can bring your own though, so at some of the places.
And I'll tell you, of all the wine school segments we do, it's rare that I finish my glass during the segment. I did that with this.
Well, that
This
is
is-
the Sauterne.
The Sauterne. Yeah, well, there's been a couple. Well, let's not say never. But
Is this one that ages, or is this one you should get more fresher?
So because of the acid on it, you could lay it down and you could let it sit and it'll age. Probably the sweet spot for this wine would be kind of 3 to 5 years of age. You could probably run it to 10. This is probably not a slap in the cellar for 40 years kind
It
of
seemed
wine.
like it'd be the really cool, like wine geek spot to go in France, though. This
Right.
little tiny town where they only got this one little grape that they make.
Yeah.
No, I mean, and they've probably got a 5-year-old bottle sitting around for
Oh,
like
I'm sure they have
$1.99.
40
I bet it's
year-old.
beautiful.
You know what I mean? Like it's some little like bed and breakfast place right there, because it's got to be off the beaten track.
Well, actually, the Loire Valley, in my opinion, is the most beautiful spot in France to go. Like everyone, Bordeaux and Burgundy, because the wines are so awesome,
Right.
but they're not that picturesque, especially Burgundy. Burgundy's not that picturesque. But the Loire Valley, you have like this river that runs through it, and they grow all this food there, and there's all these big castles. It's, I don't know, it's like
Well, there was a lot of
fucking
good World
Kevin
War II action
Costner
there.
and
No, there was a lot of good World War II action in there.
yeah. Well, it's pretty north. It's pretty near Germany. So yeah.
Well, no, like the what's the one with Clint Eastwood where they have the guns in Navarone?
Oh, the guns in
and stuff
Navarone?
Like that. That whole thing is in that area.
I
If
don't know
I'm
where,
not
I don't know where
mistaken.
Navarone is with respect to the Loire, but regardless, it's a ridiculously picturesque spot.
It's a
And
really
it's,
great wine. It's a really great wine. I'm almost finishing my glass.
It's,
now.
it's,
Like,
it's,
I'm like-
it's so nice and easy to drink. This is Chenin Blanc. This is that jug stuff that if you went down to the store and go, I'm let's drink some Chenin Blanc, guys. People will be like, are you high?
Right.
There's no way we're drinking this.
We
But
all finished. Look at
the
that.
Vouvray, yeah, we all finished it. That's a wine school
Good
first
call.
right there. So anyways, Domaine Huet, Vouvray, Le Olu Vineyard. It's wonderful. As always, we're going out with 30 seconds of craziness. So enjoy. This is
All right. Feel it up.
Seriously,
Feel it up.
pour me some more of that. That's fucking
Just a
awesome.
little bit.
There's something happening here.
You happy?
Can you feel it? Can you see it?
I'm happy too.
We've got to make love again.
You happy?
Do you know it? Can you show it?
I'm happy too.
Open your heart and rebel. Resist temptation. Break free from yourself. Catch the sweetness.